All right, welcome everybody. Welcome into the show, Finding Love and Making Love Last. I'm your man KTJ, men's counselor turned men's coach turned love coach, and tonight we're in our third week of Love Coach Sessions live, and I'm glad you guys are here. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I help successful single women to find amazing men for dating, relationships, and love. And this show, you guys, I'm bringing some of my friends, some of my people that I've met along the way to come in and share in this conversation. Just so you know, Love Coach Session began because I would have these one-on-one coaching sessions and some great ideas would come out of those sessions. And I'm like, man, I wish I had some place to talk more about these topics. And so I created Love Coach Sessions, and this is Love Coach Sessions Live. And so let me go ahead and bring up my panelists that are here tonight. All right. So Averell is here. What's going on, Averell?
Hey, good night, Kel. I'm doing well. How are you?
All right, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. You look good out here in these internet streets.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Yourself.
What'd you say?
You look pretty snazzy yourself.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. Everell, tell the folks a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So, good evening, beautiful people. I am Everell Smith, a certified dating and relationship coach, a best-selling author of Everyday Woman's Guide to Living Your Best Life. I also co-authored a book, Perfectly Placed, Be Where Your Feet Are. I am the founder and CEO of Seeking Synergy, and I empower and educate single high-value women of color to master the art of dating with clarity, confidence, and communication. I also help them break their toxic dating cycles and recognize their true worth so they can create the love life that they desire but most certainly deserve. Kel, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm glad I got you to say that because you said it so beautifully.
Appreciate you.
Great. Let me bring up Seema, my girl. Coach Seema's in the building with that beautiful background. Coach Seema, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, and I hope you are.
Yes. I see you rocking that pink the way you always do.
Actually, I got on red. It looks a little pink, but red tonight.
I don't see no green around there. I don't see no pink in the green.
I can get some now, but no,
I know it's always handy. It's always around.
Always.
All right, Coach Seema, tell the folks who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
All right, I'm so excited to be here tonight. My name is Seema Clark. I am a twice certified healing and transformative coach. I specialize in helping women age 25 to 60. So the ladies that are on up in age like myself, girl, it ain't too late, okay? I help women overcome some maladaptive behaviors such as people pleasing, hyperindependence, codependency, my big one, not being able to set the proper boundaries and enforce them bad boys, okay? Self-care and preservation and self-confidence. I am so excited to be here tonight. Thank you for having me.
All right. Coach Seema, thank you so much for being here. I know this is going to be a good conversation tonight. All right. Asha is here. Hello, Asha. How you doing tonight?
Greetings. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure. So she's rocking the green tonight, Seema. So she got it going. All right, Asha, tell the folks who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Asha Cerise. I am a certified life coach and dream doula. I support women on their journeys of healing, self-love, and self-discovery, as well as intentional dating. And I help people to birth their ideas, hence the name Dream Doula. I am the author of How to Beat Single, which is a guided journal. And I also just support people on their journeys through conversations and events as well.
All right. Good stuff. Let me bring up my man, Elam B. King is in the building.
What up? What's going on?
What's going on, good brother?
Hey.
Now, Seema, you know he gonna have his red and his white behind him.
It's just the chair. My sons bought the chair for me, so it is what it is, you know.
Yeah. They didn't know any better, so they just bought you. They just got that color. They didn't know any better.
It's
All
all good.
right, my man, my man. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Share with the people who you are, what you do, and who you serve out here.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Kelvin, for even having me on tonight. And good evening, Seema and Osha and all of our guests panel. Elam B. King, located here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a relationship coach. I work with couples, married, single, and also in the pre-marriage space as well, which is actually my favorite. I am a three-time author. As you can see, my books back there. I'm also a game master. This is my Are We Ready Yet game, which is a pre-marriage game as well. So my mantra pretty much is that in order for us to improve our communities, we have to improve our families. And so in order to improve our families, we have to take a look at the two people who make that family, which is the man and the woman. So super excited to be here and add and a little arguing and everything else. I'm gonna sprinkle a little spice in. How about
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right. Alicia is here. T um Miney. Is it Miney or Minnie?
It's supposed to be money. I just misspelled it Money because I was rushing and kind of nervous in the back. So it's T
It's
Money.
all good. It's all good. Talk to us about what you doing out here, and what's your interest in love in this topic tonight.
Well, my name is Alicia Tate. I go by the name of T Money. I have a logistics company which I run. I basically believe I got picked for the panel because of my personal interest in just dealing on a personal scale from having relationship differences. And I know Kevin followed me a lot because I'm very vocal on my Facebook page and giving out a lot of advice because I'm real upfront and personal. So I really just cannot wait to get into these topics. Again, I do logistics, notary, I do everything in Atlanta, background work. So I just appreciate him picking me out of all the people to join you great people because I heard the background. So I'm just ready to get at it and go at it because I have a lot to say tonight.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, I'm bringing the tea to the table, baby.
Oh, all right. I like it. I like it. All right. So let's get Kenya up here. Kenya, how you doing tonight?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It's actually still a little afternoon for me, y'all. I am
Oh,
from Cali. I'm here in Cali, so thank you guys for having me here and enjoying the space with you guys. I am a relationship coach and communications expert. I help individuals unlearn and relearn relationship skills through healing, self-discovery, and self-reflection. I am also a youth mentor and I coach mastering conflict resolution all across the US, as well as mood mastery specifically for my ladies.
all right. Beautiful, beautiful. I love all of that. Kenya, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here this afternoon. It's afternoon out there in Cali. All right, all right. So we're getting into this topic. Right off the top, I wanna just express to the audience, you guys, please feel free to chime in. We want to have an interactive audience, and we've got a few folks that are saying hello. Sonia's here. Oh, this is going to be a great convo. Yes, yes. LV is in the building. What's going on? My girl Lavanya and Sharian. All right. Good evening. Looking forward to the great conversation. All right. All right. Kenya's people are here. Kenya's my favorite. You ain't allowed to have no favorites.
Hey, Carol, I
Every
think we got one of the people backstage. She put a note in. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, what happened? Oh, wait, let me see. Hold on.
April, we lost her.
Oh, I lost Everett. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Look, y'all know your brother need a little help. So thank y'all so much for helping the
I
brother
was
out.
like, I'm not going to leave my sis back there.
I appreciate you, girl.
All right, girl, I
All
got it.
right. Yes, yes, yes. So we're getting into the conversation tonight. Right off the top, I've got more to share here. But right off the top, talk to me about this idea of finding love and making love last, because we're coming out of Valentine's Day, right? At the point that we're recording this right now, Valentine's Day was last week. Everybody was talking about love and connecting and finding love and making love and all the good stuff, right? But the question is, how can it last? So I'll throw the ball in the air. Whoever wants it, go grab it.
Knowing yourself. I will start there. Knowing yourself from the beginning, the middle, and I mean, we're not towards the end because we don't know if it's going to end or not, but that is very important. And I tell people all the time, know what you can deal with and go from there. I say that to say, I was engaged and unengaged, and I was not unengaged for any reasons of domestic violence, cheating, or anything like that. I knew I didn't want to suffer with him. I knew that if he got sick, I didn't want to sit up there and take care of him. I knew that if he was, but that was because it was him. It had nothing to do with me. I grew up in a loving two-parent home, so I'm loving, but I knew I wouldn't want to do that for him. A lot of people stick to the ride or die. They try to stick it out, and then they start getting resentment for themselves because they don't own up to that and know that about themselves. There are a million people out here in the world, and you do not, if you know, you know. A lot of people say, oh, how do a man know if they want to marry somebody? You know when you don't want to marry somebody too. When you know, you know.
That's good. That's
Yeah, and
good.
I just want
Go.
to piggyback. I just want to piggyback off some of the things that she said in reference to knowing yourself. Not only do you need to know yourself, you need to get to know your mate. And lasting a long time, those 25 and 30 years in relationships, because I'm 49, and a lot of my friends in Birmingham they're in those 30-year relationships. And the key that they keep giving me is to know what you can take. It's not going to be good going through it. You want to have understanding, but the most part, you want to have honesty. You want to have accountability. For me, those are the key things in making it last, because everything is not going to be perfect. So when you do mess up, take the accountability and the steps and know if it's worth it. If the good outweighs the bad, then those things right there will make it to those 25 and 30 years. And when I say regardless, I'm talking of regardless of whether or not each person does step out. Again, when I say that, just understanding to know yourself. And it starts from a good foundation. Never heard of a skyscraper being built from the top. So it got to have a great foundation. And that's what I mean by making it last.
All
Absolutely.
right. Elam, talk to me about that. This idea of making it last.
Well, I would say that your girl Kenya and is it T Mining? I want to say it correctly. T Mining.
Yes.
They said it best. I mean, it's really we got to start with the foundation of understanding yourself. I mean, I like to say the one person that does not show up inside of most relationships is ourselves. And so what we do is that we attach ourselves to somebody else because of the way they look, because of the background that they have, because their teeth are nice, or even because they heard the sex is good, right? And then we resent that person down the road because they're not evolving into becoming who we want them to be. Just
Yes.
because someone's a good person doesn't make them your person, right? And the same thing goes for you for somebody else as well. And so if we don't if we don't have ourselves rooted in our spirituality and our relationship with God, and I'm a believer, so that's where I'm gonna come from, right? That's the first piece. Then understanding ourselves, then taking those two together, which can actually take some time, and then matching ourselves with a partner who can collaborate with who we are. And so, I have couples who are in their 50s and 60s and 40s, and you would think that people know, you know who you are then, right? No, they don't. And some of them, watch this, are actually already married 10, 15, 20 years, and now they're upset at the other person. And then when I start walking down something like purpose, they have a great job, have a great car, house, and all that stuff, but don't know who they are nor where they're going, but they expect the other person to just know who they are. And I'll wrap it up by saying this: the one person that can teach you that the only person that can teach somebody else how to love you is you. So if you don't know how to love you, it's unfair to expect somebody else to qualify for the love that you need when you haven't done the due diligence for yourself, nor can teach that other person how to love you.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I talk a lot about my work with men. I worked in a facility one time, and I'll never forget it. A man came to me and told me, he said, "Kel, I have never been loved."
Mm.
And when he said it, I was like, "Well, what do you mean never? You've never been loved?" He said, "No, I have never been loved." He came from the foster care system, slept in a dungeon basement, and it was cold, it was wet, it was nasty, and he felt left out. It's just being in foster care alone
Mm-hmm.
is gives you a sense of not being worthy of anyone's time. Like if you feel like if your parents didn't care, who else is going to care for you? And so he grew up with this feeling of not ever being loved. And by the time I met him, he had 3 kids, and I said to myself, there's probably some woman that he's been involved with who is asking herself, what is wrong with this man? Why won't he love me? Why won't all he got to do is act right? Yeah, you've heard women say that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Why won't he
Well,
act
let me
right? And
let me
what
speak.
I have
Mhm.
discovered is, for some of these people, they can't love you because they don't even know what love is.
Yes, that's it. Oh, that's it.
So you might find yourself in a position, and I said this on a YouTube, on the TikTok video, and and they went off on me. But
Mm-hmm.
you might find yourself in a position where you have to teach someone how to
Mm-hmm.
love.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say my
What?
tip for a long lasting relationship is starting your healing journey, because a lot of
Yep.
people, their first time even having somebody hold space for them and listen to them is when they get into a relationship. They've never sought therapy. They've never sought any type of healing modalities that work for them or resonate with them. So really doing your due diligence to start your healing journey, and your healing journey is continuous. It's not just a destination. Like, oh,
Yes.
I'm healed. It's a lifelong path.
Yeah,
But finding out what works for you, doing that inner child healing,
yes.
healing those mother wounds, those father wounds, things that you don't even know actually exist that affect you long term and in your relationships, and unpacking some of that relationship trauma as well. People are carrying on all this trauma and baggage from one relationship to the next, expecting this person to heal them or be the antidote to the pain that they have. No, you got to start that journey on your own. And the relationship is a reflection, so it's a mirror. It's an opportunity to you're going to have those triggers, or my friend says sacred opportunities to test out that healing work. And it might not always be a textbook type thing. It sounds good in theory, but in practice it's different. But just starting that healing journey and being able to know yourself and being able to unpack some of that stuff really does help the relationship, so that the first time you're dealing with it is not when you're in a relationship.
Right. I wanted to say, because I deal with women from 25 to 60, right?
Mhm.
We got to understand that most of us on the panel, we know what we want through what? Trial and error.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think I've been married twice. First marriage at 26, coming from a single parent household. My parents died when I was 19, both. How much trauma do you think I brought into that relationship? He was the baby boy
Mm-hmm.
of a abusive situation that he saw all of his upbringing. How much trauma do you think he brought? So somehow we have this idea, as Elam talked about, oh, he fine, she this and she this and he that. We think that's going to come together and make a really good relationship, when we have yet to dig into our childhood traumas and
Mm-hmm.
any other traumas that we brought along the way. So I think merging two people together with all that baggage, as Erica Badu says, girl, you're going to hurt your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's impossible. So we end up learning from the relationship not working. And a lot of times what we don't want, girl, I don't want nobody else. Here's one of mine. I'll just give one of mine transparently. I don't want to marry another preacher. Okay. But it comes
Talk that talk.
saying, no, no way. But I also realize that a lot of that is born or colored by my experience in the trauma of it. There may be a great, outstanding man out there just happens to be a preacher that God has for me. But as soon as he tell me he a preacher, I'm like, sir, we're not it, bro. We just not it. So I
But
feel like to make it,
Seema, wait a minute. Hold on, Seema. What's wrong with the man of God?
no, I can't, no, because first of all, I'm like, I can't be nobody's first lady because I curse sometimes.
Know
Right?
yourself.
I
See?
know. Let's see. Go back to your point. Know yourself.
Know
You know, it
yourself.
took a long time to get here. But the person I was at 26, oh my gosh. If I was the person I am today back then, some of them relationships wouldn't happen, you guys. So to make it last, you got to come in there. We got too many resources. We got TikTok. I see Kel on there, Ken. I mean, all these people on here. These young folk got too many resources that we didn't have. Our parents didn't even tell us about sex. Okay. They didn't tell us about money, right? It's too many resources for these young people to come together with all this unhealed trauma. That's how you make it work. You work on your communication, your trauma, all that before. Now, for those of us who've gone trial and error, y'all know y'all need to do work. You know it. You know you looking through a pair of glasses that's covered up with trauma and you can't see clearly. And it's not fair to you or the other people. Okay. Do your work. That's right, Sonia. Do your work so that you can communicate and set effective boundaries. Anybody can set a boundary, but how about who can enforce them?
Right.
Okay. That's
Right.
Right.
That's why I tell my ladies, anybody can say, I'm never doing that again.
Application.
Do it again.
Right.
Because you don't know how to set boundaries properly.
Yes.
And you gotta understand, you gotta be ready for the fallout when you get brand new.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
which comes along with the respect, and again, that's what I was saying about the foundation, because you really actually have to know. And even in a relationship, it doesn't mean baggage is coming from prior relationships. You can have baggage from your
Listen.
own within that relationship, because if you've been
Yes.
together for so long, you've created some certain things to
Mhm.
happen. Some people can't let it go. So again, the first step I want to say to her is, again, the communication part. And you got to know your partner, because I know for a fact the person that's been in a relationship for over 10 years, and then within the 8th and 9th year it wasn't going good because of the communication. And somebody has to step up and take the first step into communication and saying what we're doing wrong, so we can partner together as we are as one to try to help each other over the baggage that we've created, not so much as your past, but what we are actually going through. And then we can start to double down on what the root of it all is coming from. So I agree with
Okay.
everything that she's saying.
Yes. And when
Good.
it
Right.
comes to communication, I know that's really big, but I at Keepsake University do effective communication, because I teach the 5 styles of communication, because
Talk
everyone
to
wants
us.
to say communication is the key. And I'm like, no, it's not, because someone that is silent is communicating. Someone that is yelling is
It's a fact.
communicating. So
It's
you
a fact.
cannot say that communication is key. So what I do, which is why I help people unlearn and relearn, I break down the 5 communication styles. And
Give it
then
to us
I
real
give
quick,
you,
can you?
oh, so there are the assertive communication style, the
Assertive.
aggressive communication style, the passive aggressive communication style, the
Mhm.
manipulative communication style. Yeah, see, look at it. And then just the straight passive, which is avoiding
Whatever.
communication style.
Hmm.
So basically, if you put someone that has a passive communication style up against someone that has aggressive communication style, they're communicating, but it's not effective. There's
Effectively.
not going to be
Hmm.
any solutions. And so
Love
you have
that.
to, again, understand that when it comes to that. And then the second thing is, yes, healing. I teach healing 101, and I have a course called Stacked Healing, because what people don't understand, like T Money said, is that it's not just relationships. That I've had more heartbreaks from my best friend, my girlfriends, than I have from any man. That's some healing that I had to go through. Some healing from an uncle passing away. Not just, I have both my parents, thank goodness. But I'm just saying, and when you have stacked healing, it is because you don't deal with something that happened at 9. You don't deal
Mhm.
with it at 13. So when you get to 21 and you're dealing with real life
Right.
situations, you don't
Mhm.
know how to heal from it because you still have to deal with 9-year-old. So I
Mhm.
always
Mm.
suggest let's deal with 9. Let's deal with 13 because I'm 42 and life is life. And if I was still dealing with something at 5, 12, 17, it's that stacked healing that would
Mhm.
have me what the young people say crashing out nowadays. This is why they're crashing out. So I want people to take it one healing at a time and understand that it's not a bad word.
Right.
All
I
right,
love
all
that.
right, all right, all right.
Well, and
Elam,
oh,
let me
sorry.
go ahead, Everell, and then I want to hand it to Elam.
Okay.
I want to make sure the men get a word in here tonight with with all this
Okay.
strong feminine energy going on. All right,
Yeah, and
all
I
right,
would
go
add
ahead.
to what everyone else has said, which pretty much sums it up. I would add that self-love is the key to finding true love. Before we can start the process of finding the one, we have to become the one. um Becoming the one means working on your self-confidence, practicing self-love, like everyone said, setting healthy boundaries, knowing who and what you want, knowing your deal breakers. I like to
Mm-hmm.
say, having a blueprint for dating, what characteristics you want this person to have. Recognize whether you share the same values, the same goals around, values around family and life, fitness, finances. Having those conversations before you get into a serious relationship, so you're not wasting time, because it's your biggest commodity, you can never get it back.
Mm-hmm.
And just learning, like everyone said, learning to love yourself, know yourself before you try to get to know someone else. And like Elam said, understanding that it is your responsibility to teach someone how to love you, because the only person who knows you best is
You.
you.
Hmm.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so
That's a
he,
fact.
he he absolutely hit it on the head with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Totally agree.
How about, so here's a question, Elam. What's a common way that women misunderstand men in relationships?
Y'all got 4 hours. 'Cause how much time do we have?
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm laid back. He was
uh,
like,
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
hey,
um,
we listening.
so
Right.
That's the
so
top three.
I'm gonna share with you this, and I'm just gonna come from. I've been doing relationship coaching for a little bit over 10 years, like officially from a business perspective, but really doing it for about 20 years. People are always coming and asking me questions, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna share with you the number one husband challenge that folks come to me with, and this is the 10, 15, 25 year, is that I don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and
Yep.
and I say that because unfortunately, as men, this is where our accountability, and the lovely baby boomers, we love them oh so much, but they were very loyal and God-fearing people and all that, but when it comes to emotional intelligence, they did not bestow that upon Generation X, right? And then here we
Yes.
come, you got to be tough and don't cry, don't act like a girl, can't be sensitive, right? And so I went my whole life being told that I really shouldn't be expressing myself because that's related to femininity, and that's one of the worst things that you could say to a 3-year-old boy is that you're acting like a girl, let alone a 20-year-old man, right? So I've been taught to not feel, I've been taught to not express, and then I meet you, woman, and then you
Mm-hmm.
make me love you, and I choose to love you, and now
Yeah.
I'm in this space where I don't even understand my emotions and my feelings. So I've been taught to not speak, and taught to not express, and then on the same time, remember, woman, you've also been taught that that man's supposed to be tough and this, that, and that. So then now it's time to have conversation, and now sensitivity is weaponized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feelings are weaponized. So even sometimes during conversations, I'm now trying to express myself to you, and because I might be going in a direction that you don't like, you're now going to weaponize sensitivity and my and me sharing my emotion. Now that's going to cause me to digress even more because I was already taught not to do it. Now here you come with the shade on it. So and remember that women were taught that they were the prize. Okay, I'm gonna go here. So you the prize. So I'm supposed to be working towards your emotion. So I can ask you about your day. You're not asking me about mine. So the misconception is that when the word sensitivity that comes towards men, as if we're not allowed to be sensitive. Then don't add in being a black man. Okay. So that's one of the biggest fumbles that is happening in relationships is that an environment has to be fostered to allow that man to express himself. I can go out there and kill the lions and the tigers and the bears all day, but when I come in this home, I love you. I want to be sensitive. I want to be able to express myself. And as me moving forward and being the leader in this household, that doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to express myself and that I don't matter as well. So that's one of the biggest fumbles that's happening in relationships right now. It's as if that man doesn't matter, and then he also not having the background and the emotional intelligence to be able to share what needs to be shared. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And so for that reason, I started a podcast where I interview men only, and it is to get their perspective uninterrupted. And 99% of the episodes, some men say this at some capacity. They either say men are simple or they say that they feel like they don't matter for this. So
Mhm,
I am with you when I'm with you. And then that goes into the reason why they stay unhappy for so long. And then that goes
mhm.
into sometimes of the aspect of where cheating can be justified. But that's a whole nother topic that we can get
Hey,
into.
you
You
got
know,
four
that's
more
a whole
hours.
nother topic. But I say that to say that yes. And we do need to find a way to bridge that gap, because when they don't feel like they matter, I'm talking about our men, when they don't feel like they matter, it's something that fosters. And unfortunately, I just lost one of my really close friends due to a stroke, and he died very unhappy, and that sticks with me. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And so it is very important to make Black men especially feel like they matter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's
can
good.
I just
That's
throw
good.
this in real quickly, Kelvin? I just want to ask this to your audience, right? I saw a
Hmm.
post that went up today to somebody, and it was just like, "Girl, if you sexing him and you're with him and he didn't buy you anything, okay, on Valentine's Day, that you just don't have no love for yourself, and there's something wrong with you." And so my question back to her, I was just like, "Okay, so what if did she buy him anything?" Because Valentine's Day is for couples, right? And so men feel like, okay, well, we gonna go do the flowers and the cake. We've been taught this since like we was way down here with them little hearts.
Yes,
Will you be
sir.
mine? You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? We've been taught that from day one, right? And
Hmm.
so then Valentine's Day comes around and we're taught to do, right? It was. I want to ask any lady that's on, whether it's on this panel or that's in the audience or whatever. What did you do for your man besides give him the sex that you already been giving him for the past 364 days?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. So, because that can't be it on Valentine's Day. He worked hard to
Mhm.
do this, that, and the third, and spend this, that, and the third. Then you give him what? Because you put a negligee on.
Mhm.
Really, it should have already been in the drawer. So that's just an example of a whole holiday that is men are taught to go do, and when you ask the lady, she'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give him some." Really?
Well, let me answer that. Me personally, I live my life not through a holiday. I treat mine good every day. So whether or not it's a holiday, whether or not it's a day, any day, he gets what he needs throughout the relationship. So whether or not I bought you something on Valentine's Day just to simply say I love you, we can, we don't make a big deal about it. I personally did not get a personal here you go Valentine's Day thing because I get what I want from him throughout the relationship period, and we have that understanding. I'm not a whole big Christmas type person either because I live my life every day and making us happy regardless. So whether or not we exchange a gift or something huge, cause and we eat out all the time because I really don't like to cook and don't have a lot of time to do that. So it was not a lot that we just don't do, period. So for me, that's what we did for our Valentine's, but the love is already there. So we were good on the exchange of anything.
All right.
I was going to
Who
mention that
else?
it's
Go
also,
ahead. Go ahead, Asha.
yeah, I was going to mention that I hear a lot of men that are in relationships, marriages as well, say that they don't feel appreciated. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes that's where love languages, people can go along with it or not. But love language is very important because
Mhm.
sometimes the effort is given, but it's not received because
Mhm.
that's not the way that they receive love, or that's not the way that they receive
Mhm.
feeling appreciated. So it's important to know how your partner receives love so that you can be attentive to that. And as far as like effective or communication and men being deemed as sensitive sometimes when it comes to communicating in relationships, another part of emotional intelligence is also self regulation, emotional regulation. So I think also tone and the way you communicate and all of that matters as well on how that communication is being received. Because I'm a whole space for my man or men in my life all day and all, it's fine. You can be sensitive. You could be, I don't want to use vulnerable, but you can be transparent, be yourself. And I'm going to accept. But at the same time, I don't want nobody trauma dumping on me. I don't want nobody giving me all the damn woes and ohs all the time and not, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the solutions? So I'm not insensitive to what they're feeling, but it's just a matter of tone and frequency and delivery as well, and reciprocation.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
That's good.
So a
Hold
good
on,
example.
hold on, hold that thought, Seema. Hold that thought. So I really want to hear the answer to that question about what y'all did for your man for Valentine's Day. Let me pull up some of these things. My man gets Valentine's Day every day. It's about the
That's Sharon.
love
Hey,
shown
Sharon.
every day. Okay. All right. All right. Jean Hairston, she seconded Sharon, but she didn't tell us what she did for her man for Valentine's Day. Come on, I'm asking y'all the question. What did you do for your man for Valentine? It's commercial to me. Okay, commercial. But I bet you still got something though. and you received it happily, commercial or not. Pay attention and listen to each other is critical. Both must give and receive. All right. So we got somebody that said, I don't expect anything on Valentine's Day because if we've been straight all year long. I do not need to eat with the high prices and everybody else trying to do something on that day.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
I love, and of course, this has been a topic of discussion ever since Valentine's Day, and I love that is the number one answer. I get it all year round. I get it all year round,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. But that is not what we are
Right.
talking about right now. I
No,
want
it
us
is
I
to
mean,
not.
I'm
stay
so
on the
glad.
topic.
I
All
was
right.
about to explode over
So
here.
I say that to say that even for myself, yes, I am just a holiday person. I love holidays. So to answer the question, I'm dating, and the guy I'm dating, we didn't do anything because he worked. It was on a weekday, and we just, and I was okay with that. But my daughter, since she's in another state, she sent me something, I sent her something, and it is, I just love celebrating. So when the time was coming, I wasn't zoned in on couples. I wasn't zoned in on what is he gonna do for me or anything like that. And it's a new phase every day. This was the first time on social media that I saw somebody really have to ask their spouse to be their Valentine. And I tell y'all come up with something every single year, okay? But what I will say is that for Valentine's Day, if I am dating or in somebody, I do take it amongst myself to give gifts, especially on Valentine's Day, regardless if I do it on a Tuesday or not. That means that on Valentine's Day, it's gonna have something Valentine theme. You know what I mean? And so again, for me, we didn't do anything because he was working. And I think it has to do with age too. Maybe in my 20s, I would have wanted to dress up and go out. Again, I'm 42. If he would have asked me, I would have been like, can we get some pizza? This movie time. But that goes back to love languages. My love language is quality time and physical touch. So you know what we gonna do. You know what I'm saying? But I understand. I understand what
I know
his
that's right.
is as well. So I know what his is. His is acts of service. So that means that I would be doing the cooking while our quality time. So you have to understand each other's love language, like OSHA said. Is it OSHA? Asha, sorry.
I
Asha
like
said.
it, Asha. Well, listen, I'll speak for the single people because I'm single as a bird. There was nobody to give me a gift and nobody to give. So guess what I did? I bought myself a gift. Okay. One of the things that I'm trying to break free from is not getting anything. I mean, Valentine's Day, when I was married, I didn't get anything. If I did, it was a kitchen utensil, like which who wants Valentine's Day? So what I had decided in my trauma was I'm not celebrating that. That's just a commercial holiday. I don't want none. That's my way of protecting myself from being
Talk.
disappointed.
Talk.
Okay.
Talk.
So with a lot of therapy,
Mhm.
now I'm like, but is that what you want, Seema? No, because my love languages are quality time and acts of service. Yes, I want something on Valentine's Day. So what would it
Yes.
look like for me to buy myself, by the way, and I bought myself a very nice gift for Valentine's Day to get with someone, and he talking about we do this all year. No, 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 no.
Right.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a gift if we're not in Bali, Maldives, or I cooked because I love to cook. You set the table, got some wine, some music, whatever we decide to do. But we're going to celebrate Valentine's Day because I've been going a whole lot of years with no Valentine's Day. That's just my point. It ain't about no commercialism, and it's not about we do this all year, but this is a special day. Y'all give gifts all year, but you give gifts at Christmas.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
We give
Right.
gifts all year. I tell my son, y'all get blessed all year, but Christmas, there's lots of stuff under this tree. Okay,
Yes.
for the moment. So
Yes.
whomever that beautiful, fine man that God sends my way, baby, we are celebrating Valentine's Day, and I'm going all out for you, and you can go all out for me. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Whoever
good.
that
That's
is,
good.
I'm got you.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I don't understand a man not giving his woman something about the day that the world essentially has set aside to pay specific attention to the love one in your life. The whole world is celebrating, right? Why wouldn't you just intentionally make sure that your woman has something?
Facts.
You
Because
know,
they
like
are
like
intentionally going against it.
yeah. Got always got to fight the machine. Watch out for
Yes.
some of these people who always fighting the power, because they're gonna fight your
Exactly.
power one day.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm conscious too. I'm not really studying these man-made holidays either, but I also am an American. I grew up in America, and we have these American holidays that are part of our tradition. So yes, I do want to be showered on certain days, and I'm with Coach Seema. I didn't have a Valentine's this year either, but I actually celebrated Black Love Day, which is February 13th. So I celebrated that this year. And then of course self-love all day on Valentine's Day as well. But my father called me. He was the man in my life that called me and made me feel loved on Valentine's Day this year.
My favorite is actually Galentine's Day. It has been. I mean, whether I'm in a
I've just heard
relationship,
of that.
I have a Galentine's Day every single year. I love Galentine's Day.
All right. Well, look, since it was that time of year, I just thought it would be befitting to kind of look at some of these ways that people can celebrate. Just in case you missed it, now you can get you something, and you guys can let me know what you think about these some of these places that people can go and celebrate their love so that they can have long-lasting love. All right, let's check it out.
Now, they do not have hookah service in here, so you know it's giving real restaurant. It's giving a real vibe. This right here was the mango 1650, and it was very mouth watering. If you love Fresh 75, then you must try this strawberry one. And guess what, y'all? I haven't seen sangrias in a while, and they're bringing them back. For all you wine lovers out there. Now let's get into my favorite part of the menu, which was this oxtail spinach dip. It was rich in flavor, and baby, I don't think I've ever seen oxtail spinach dip nowhere in Atlanta. So you know you got to get over here and try it, right? One thing about me, I love me a good appetizer, and this calamari parmesan was hitting. It was everything that sauce was saucing. Now, I'm not really a fan of spicy food, but this jerk chicken flatbread got my vote 10 out of 10. And it's not really spicy, which I loved. Now, you know I had to pull out the banger last. This red snapper was so rich in flavor when it's topped with this Cajun sauce. And did I mention all the food is made to order? Go ahead and try this new fine dining experience at
Cliche Wine Bar here in Atlanta. I hope they don't ding me on that music. But what y'all think about that one? What y'all think?
No, it was wonderful. It looked nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm out there.
Let's hit it. Come on.
Yes. I got another one to show y'all. I got another one for you. This one is a coffee in Atlanta, and it's
Hey,
black
I'm
owned.
Kelsey Maynard. I am the founder of Upper Room. Yep, this guy. Listen, the Upper Room is one of the coolest things I've done in a long time. It's just create an opportunity for all of us to come together to make something beautiful. We have coffee, we have cocktails, we got wine, but the more important thing is it's all black. That sounds crazy, but it's not. It's serious. And so what we did was we brought an opportunity here to Ponce City Market. We could focus on our brands. How do we highlight us in one of the busiest locations in the city? Hey, I'm Kelsey.
All right, so that one's in Ponce City Market. Coffee date. We can even touch on that for for a minute, just give me a second, and I got one more that I want to share because we want to help our folks to have love, long lasting love, and part of it is spending time together and getting them eats going. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Turn me up, turn me up.
I don't know if that one they're gonna get me on this music, but here
Yeah,
we go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn me up, turn me up, turn me up, turn me up. Man. Yeah, 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 yeah. Turn me up, turn me up, turn me up, turn me up. Man. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
all right, all
yeah.
right. Oh, that one's Kitchen and Cocktails. I've been to that one. It's a
I've been
new
to the one
restaurant.
in Dallas, and it's my favorite place in Dallas. I didn't know they had one
Yes,
in Atlanta.
they do. It's out at the perimeter. Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes,
Beautiful.
yes. So what do y'all think about some of those ideas and on keeping the fire going for some of our couples?
Very important.
Very.
Very
Mhm.
important. Spending
Yeah.
time. A man can give you money. He can give you gifts and trinkets. But I've been taught from experience, if he give you your time, that's very important because he's trying to
Mhm.
actually build, get to know you, and if y'all are having issues, trying to figure those things out. So time is everything because you can't go get it back.
Yeah,
Especially when you are our age. So again, spending time, the communication and everything, that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
that's good.
Uh,
Averell,
I wanted.
go ahead, and let me get Averell. She been too quiet over here. I
Oh,
gotta
go
get
ahead,
her.
Avery. I'll wait. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay, Elam. So to piggyback off what Timani says, yes, quality time is important. If a man is investing his time in you, he's invested in you. It's not just about investing in you financially. Spending quality time does not have to be intimate settings. It could be a variety of quality time. It could be spending time on the phone, just checking in. I like to say that relationship check-ins are so important. Quality time could be making sure that you have time to discuss whether both of your needs are being met.
Ooh, that's
You
good.
know, um,
Mhm.
that's what I call a relationship check in. Quality time can entail so many things. It does not have to be just intimate, but spending time together, you get to learn so much about each other. And you have those tough conversations because we, as humans, we need to totally understand that conflict is such a natural part of any relationship. And when people are afraid to have the tough conversations because they're avoiding conflict, you're not doing yourself any you're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, it's just learning how to deal with the conflict. It's not shying away from it. It's not sweeping it under the rug, avoiding it. It is addressing it head on, but understanding that communicating effectively, like Kenya said, communicating effectively and learning how to resolve conflict constructively. And there are so many ways that you can do that. And I mean, we can touch on that later, but that's kind of basically the gist of it.
Right.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good. Elam, go ahead.
Averell, you really kind of hit an area that where I was going with it because you said relationship check-in, and I think that when we're looking at Valentine's Day, right? That was a day where people had most of the time have an experience, right? And so If I was to ask, I know most of you on this panel might know this, but I'll just challenge anybody in the audience. If I said the word intimacy, what's the first thing that you think about?
Sex.
Into
Sex.
me, see.
Yep.
Sex. You know what I'm saying? And
Sex.
so people have to understand that that's physical intimacy. There's four other intimacies that exist.
That's
Yep.
And
right.
so, of course, we know about physical. Valentine's Day had a lot of experiential intimacies, right? But then what about the spiritual intimacy within your relationship, right?
Yeah.
When you're checking in, are you doing that, right? The emotional intimacy that's necessary inside of your relationship on both sides. Do you know how the person actually feels? Are you checking in on not only yourself and sharing that into me? You see a seamless, you allowing somebody to see into you, and then you're looking into somebody else as well. That's relationship check-in 101 right there,
Mm.
right? And then you also we wrap it up with intellectual intimacy, right? Uh, do you really know what that person wants to do, and are you a part of that, able to collaborate with that, able to have conversation with that? That's totally separate than a physical conversation, totally separate than talking about God, totally separate about having an experience with that person.
Right.
So perhaps I want to throw this challenge out to somebody. If you want to look at, and I guess to your original question that you would talk about having that long lasting relationship, take a look at the five intimacies in your home and ask yourself, where is there a gap that might be existing? And if we're attacking that and looking at that and doing the check-ins as Averell was speaking about, these are some of this ingredient. Bump Valentine's Day, let's kick that out the window, right? That's
Yep.
just one day. The other 364, what's your check-in look like?
Hmm.
And what is your accountability to that check-in as well?
Yeah,
Well, let me
that's good.
answer.
Hold on, Kenya.
Mhm.
So look, just for those, I know somebody did not catch all of those intimacy points
Me.
there, brother. So let me get you to rewind that and just give them to us real quick.
Of course, we know physical intimacy, right?
Mhm.
We were then right before that talking about experience on Valentine's, experiential intimacy. That's whether experience together, if you're married, experience with you and your children, experience with other family members. So it's more than just you and her going to the beach. You experience things with your children as well. That there's gaps in relationship that exist there. Oh Lord, we can go another 2 hours there. We have emotional intimacy, right? And this is some of the ones that I find that ooh. You want to be checked on, but you're not checking in on
Yep.
how that person
Dog,
feels, right?
dog.
Check on the strong folk, right? And
Hmm.
as men, I want to go here as well. Sometimes we're not checked on, but we are taught that we need to check in on you, right? So we have our moments where we just want you to want to lay our head on your chest and just talk about our day and take that vulnerability down. So are you able to emotionally check in with somebody? And of course, intellectual intimacy. I like to say, what do you do? Right?
Mhm.
What do you like? And so what is God's purpose? Let's just go there. What your purpose, and are you checking in with whatever they're doing? If they're looking to get another a degree, are you checking in on, hey, what was the grade on your last paper? Or they're starting a business. Okay, well, what do you need? How can I collaborate with you? Be your helpmate, or be the person that give you some time, finance, whatever. So intellectual intimacy. And then the one that can shatter every relationship is spiritual intimacy. The prayer that you have, whoever you worship, okay? Because that's the discipline in your home, whoever it is, right? Are you guys praying together, right? Are you attending whatever fellowship hall or whatever that you go to together, right? Are you reading together, right? So, these are the five intimacies that we have to take a look at and know that's the check-in one-on-one for a relationship. So Seema said it best, into me, you see. Are you looking into someone and allowing them to look into you?
Mhm.
That's good.
Uh,
That's good. Go ahead, Kenya.
which
If you
is
go by that checklist, some folk is not gonna make it. Okay.
right. Um,
It's gonna save you a whole lot of time.
uh,
It just ain't gonna make it.
which
That's
is
why
why.
everybody don't qualify for everybody. Just
Right.
because you look good, you don't qualify because maybe you can't do the check-in that's
Yes.
necessary. Just date.
Hmm.
Right.
Don't get serious because you might not qualify for that area.
So
Right.
what I
Right.
do, What I do for people that are dating and in relationship is a relationship evaluation. And I do that because so many people do not treat their relationships like their careers. They treat their careers better. So just like you want a promotion in your career, you want a promotion in that relationship. Just like you want to know, your boss bring that evaluation five, not meet expectations or whatever it is, because you want to continue to work on that. So just like Elam is saying, you need that check-in. And so that's what I do for couples too. And it's geared towards relationships. Where are these areas that you need to 1 through 5? And I have the other person grade them. Because if you're just sitting at home, like Averell was saying, I do mastering conflict resolution too. If you're just sitting at home and you try to bring up a challenge in a relationship, it can turn into a conflict. But if you are there and you have that middle person, that's why I have it on paper, 1 through 5. Rate your mate. It's here on paper. So now we need to pay attention to it and evaluate it ourselves. And at the end, are you getting that promotion? Are you about to get proposed to or not? Or like Elam said, do we just need to date or do we not need to just get married? So check-in is very important.
Yeah. Or do we need to fire you?
Exactly. Or
You need
do
to
you
be
need to be
fired.
fired? Yes.
I just want to go off of what she said. A lot of that, and I tell a lot of my friends, when you're in a relationship and you are working on something, it's just like a job. Once
Mm-hmm.
a week, you all need to get together. What did I do wrong? What
Mm-hmm.
can I do better? This need to happen. Just like you have meetings at work. Come on, let's go to the table. Let's come together. Let's
Yes.
communicate. Let's write it down. You have to treat if you go and work 9 to 5 and give your all to the outside, you need to have the same time and consideration for your
Mm-hmm.
relationship on the inside, because that's the only way you will build, and you need to treat it as such. And when I say we need to come together, I don't care if we put it on the blackboard, we can write it down, put it up under the door, I don't care, but we need to communicate our differences and treat it as a conference, and let's go ahead and
Yes.
handle these discrepancies that we
Absolutely.
got. And just like he said, you cannot be afraid to stand up and fight
Mm-hmm.
your challenges, because that is the only way you will grow. Because if you're in a relationship and you're afraid, because I know somebody, if you're in a relationship and you cannot teach one another, you cannot help me grow, you all have no purpose together. I don't care how long you've been together. If
Yes.
you guys are not making it happen and making growth in that relationship, and you're just there just to say, I've been together for so long, and you haven't built anything, can't talk, can't trust, it's not worth it. So again, treat it like your job. If you lasted 30 years in a job, you can last 30 years in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin, can I please throw this in there and just to,
Yeah,
to,
you
to
got
wrap up what she just said? And this is why, and this sometimes I lose friends over this one, Mom. Go ahead and say this. This is why everybody doesn't qualify for a relationship. Okay.
Amen.
Mhm.
Just like a job we were just saying about earlier,
Yes.
there's a business aspect that exists inside of a marriage. I know we think that it's just white horse and just
Mm-hmm.
go up and pick a fence and house. No, there's work to be done. It's just like being wealthy. Everybody doesn't qualify to be wealthy because there's work that has to be done in order to get it and maintain it. Same thing comes to a relationship. You have to qualify
That's right.
to be in a relationship. A marriage license is the only license that does not have to be renewed.
And I
If
say
we
that
had
it should.
if
It
if
should be.
I'm trying to tell you, if we had to renew our licenses, that same test that you run, your girl Kenya, and some of the other people, if you had to run that
Mm-hmm.
test, you would not be taking your spouse for granted. Some of us are being abusive to our spouse
Yes.
because you feel like that you
Yes.
married and now you in because you no longer have to qualify. I hope that one day somebody comes up with a renewal that has to happen. Because watch this. Let me ask you this: if you had to renew every year your marriage, and if you fail that renewal, your person can walk away. They don't owe you nothing. I
Right.
Everybody
guarantee
gonna
you.
do that because it's too
Everybody
much
will walk
money in
away.
divorces.
Everybody would know all the love languages. You would know this
Yes.
intimacy stuff. You'd be
Yes.
like, Elam, give me something else because I've already known that. You would know
Yes.
all the aspects of it because
Mm-hmm.
you would be doing the due diligence just like you do with your job to get promoted. At your
Exactly.
girl Kenya was saying, you would be doing the same thing. We're taking ourselves for granted and not understanding that this entity is how our community is going to grow. And
Yes.
we're not willing to do what's the necessities to keep our marriages together. And some of you, no matter what you look like and no matter what your degrees are, you don't qualify
Mm-hmm.
to be in a long-term relationship. And that's okay. Date for entertainment. Go get your pipes cleaned out every now and then and keep
That's
it
it.
moving. But don't settle down with nobody because you're going to ruin a good man or a good woman.
Yep.
Now we wake up. We
Uh,
wake up to an executive. We wake up to an executive order on that tomorrow.
Hold
We
on a
gonna
second.
get you.
Hold on. Ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding, ding.
I see
Yeah,
why that
that's
man had his
good.
hand up. Asha, talk to us a little bit because see, I want to break this down for some people. There's somebody who's listening to this and they're like, you know what? Y'all preaching up in here. You all right? Y'all talking that talk. Give us maybe something like a small shifts. Like I want to break this down to the we used to say to the very last compound, right? To the very basic. Give us something basic that somebody can do that can shift this whole thing and get people just moving in the right direction. Simple shifts people can make to improve their emotional connection.
Ooh. Simple shifts to improve their emotional connection within the relationship.
Or within themselves.
Within themselves. I think the first thing that came to my mind was listening. And that can apply to both yourself and to a partner. Like listening to your intuition, listening to spirit, source, whoever your creator is, taking time to sit with yourself and your thoughts, meditating and being mindful and writing down your thoughts so that you can see what's going on within yourself that needs to be corrected or developed or shifted. With a partner, listening. A lot of people don't listen, and when you're listening to respond and not to understand. And a lot of people don't feel heard. A lot of relationships, the people are not able to hold space for one another because maybe nobody has ever taken the time to listen to them, so they don't know how to return the favor within the relationship. So just simple as listening, I believe that is an amazing shift for self and for relationships.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Because sometimes one of the things that I've heard many times out here when I'm coaching is I've heard someone say, I don't feel heard.
Mm-hmm.
And when a person says that they don't feel heard, they feel like that it's a feeling that makes them feel like I'm not important enough for you to hear me. And that's a tough place to be, to not feel heard or even not feel seen,
Right, or
you
understand.
know,
And
or
it's also
understood.
about active listening too. Active listening is a thing that people miss as well because when you're listening, you like Asha said,
Yeah.
a lot of people are listening to defend themselves, But if I can answer your question that you asked, Asha, too, I believe that we just need compassion. A lot of us lack simple compassion for each other, and that could be a simple start as well.
And self-compassion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And and
Mm.
and let's not forget that that's why God gave us two ears and just one mouth, so we can listen more and talk less.
Yeah, she taking it to grandma wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
grandma wisdom said you got two ears and one mouth for a good reason. The good Lord gave you. You need to listen twice as much as you talk.
Absolutely, because
Yes.
honestly, and I've been guilty of this, sometimes when the other person is talking, you are just listening and formulating a response.
Mm-hmm.
To what Kenya said, you can't be actively listening if you're just listening to respond. You're
Yeah.
already thinking of what you want to say in response to that person, when instead of first acknowledging what they've said, probably paraphrasing to make sure you got it correct, and
Yes.
repeating back what you thought you heard to understand if that is exactly what the person said to you. And we've all, I'm sure, been guilty of that, but we
Mm-hmm.
need
Yeah.
to be mindful of
So
that.
look, I got a challenge for everybody, and even the panelists, right? Down below in the comment section, I want you to write down, make just one sentence or one word that talks about what makes you feel loved. Like, I want to know what makes you feel loved. Write it down in the comment section. You guys that are on panel, you can write yours down in there. What makes you feel loved? I want to see what your thoughts are on what makes you feel loved. All right. All right. We got observation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait. Let me put
All right. Consideration makes her feel loved. All right. Seema says someone taking something off my plate without me asking. So essentially paying attention to what needs to be done. All right.
Acts of service.
Correct. Acts of service, right?
Acts of service.
All right. Acceptance. That's good. That's very different, Asha. That's good. Vicky said valued. That's good. All right. Emotional stability. Hold on, I got a message back here. Oh,
T-Money, I think you're putting them in the private chat.
Yeah, you gotta put it in the public chat.
Yeah.
All right. Emotional stability. Emotional stability. Emotional. I guess you really meant that, didn't you, Averell?
I didn't realize I typed it more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional. Wait, so let me pause on that, and you guys can keep the you guys that are watching, keep on putting those in as well. Hit the share button on this show. There's somebody in your life and in your community that needs to be watching this show right here tonight. Hit the share button and share this show out to somebody that needs to hear it. Averell, tell me what that means. What is emotional stability?
For me, emotional stability means, and I like to use this term, being in sync. So being in sync means we are staying connected. It doesn't matter what is happening in our lives, even if we're not able to physically spend time together, we're staying connected emotionally. It could be, and I mentioned a check-in. It could be a quick conversation, a feeling. You touched on you asked what does feeling love mean to us. That is kind of the easiest way to sum it up. And I love to use the word being in sync, and being in sync for me sometimes with the guy that I'm in a relationship with is it amazes me how sometimes we are texting each other at the same time because we thought of each other the same time during the day. Something happened and we something came to mind or something happened at both of our jobs and we were texting the same time. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was just texting you as well. That is being in sync to me.
And
just
on the same wave.
Right.
On the same wave.
Right. And emotional stability is just knowing that that person appreciates me, knowing that that person is thinking of me, knowing that that person always values my opinion, values my thoughts, cares about me, and shows it. And so that is what emotional stability basically means to me.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Miss D Key said the action on the thing that you heard from me. All right.
So she's basically saying follow up.
Follow up and act.
Okay.
Yes.
Follow
she
up
don't
is
like
good.
to repeat herself. She don't like to repeat herself.
All right. Sharon said paying attention. All right, that's good. All right, Coach Brittany said thoughtfulness and quality time. So the question was, what makes you feel loved? And if you guys are watching this, drop your comment down there below. Let me hear what makes you feel loved. Encouraging me on my journey. Men need encouragement. and he must need a lot of encouragement because you said it 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, man, but yeah, I mean it just like that. So I mean, I don't know why it just did that. I don't know what that was.
It's all good. It's all good. Alignment. That's good.
I love that word. That's my word for this year. I love alignment. That is my word for this year.
Yeah. Seema, tell me about that. What is it about alignment that makes you feel loved?
Well, actually, I have to see y'all's names. I'm sorry. Abriel was talking. That's when I said alignment. So for you to say that's your word this year, I'm like, oh my God. So alignment can be many things, but it literally is: are we on in the same place, or do we line up? You know, if I'm out here trying to build wealth and you over here overspending and your account is in zero, in negative, boo, we're not aligning right now because my mind is on building wealth and you over here trying to buy a Benz, you know. It's you got to be aligned, and it's the most invigorating thing to have someone, as she said before, they just say the same, they say, you know, text the same thing, not without even realizing it.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
called alignment. It is very important in a relationship for you to be at, you know, moving together. Now, someone may move faster than the other, but two
Mm-hmm.
people aligned would never outrun their partner.
Yes.
Sure, we
I,
stay
Right.
together. If I'm weak, you're strong. If you're
mm-hmm.
strong, I mean, you know, vice versa. So
Yes.
um I think, you know, that's what alignment means to me, that
Yeah.
you know, he considers me, I consider him. Babe, what you think about this? Oh man, I was thinking about the same thing. That lets you know you're in alignment spiritually. The Bible declares that we should not be unequally yoked. I don't think that necessarily just means our faith. Man, that could mean a lot of things. So shoot, you got somebody with a sexual appetite is on 10, an old girl over here got a sexual appetite on 1. Y'all not gonna make it. Either somebody got
Not
to
gonna
come up
make
and
it.
somebody got to come down. So can we
Mm-hmm.
have this conversation? I will bring mine down to meet you at 5, but can you come up to 5?
Yes.
And believe
Mm.
it or not, I've coached women who their sex is 1. I'm like, sis,
Mm-hmm.
you got to either work on that or
Mm-hmm.
find you another man that's a 1. Cause boo, you
Yeah.
ain't
Yes. Ain't gonna
sitting up
work.
with that.
Or
Okay.
she might need to go to the doctor and check on those hormones and get
Mm-hmm.
them.
Something is out of
Something.
order,
No, no,
right?
it's a real thing. It's a
It
real
It's a
thing.
is,
real.
but it's she needs to figure it
So
out.
that's what alignment is. You know, where are we? Do we, as Elam says, some of these people don't even qualify. Why did
Mm-mm.
we even let them waste our time? They didn't
Mm.
even, they don't even have any conflict resolution skills. What are we
Mm-mm.
talking about? They don't even know how to talk about hard things in a
Yeah.
conversation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that used to be me. We can't talk about sex. That's embarrassing. That challenges me. But now, because I've had a lot of therapy, I know how to
Mm-hmm.
use the fruit sandwich, the bread, the meat,
Mm-hmm.
and the bread.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
With some
Yes, I talk about the
resources.
sandwich method all the
Yeah.
yes.
So I, because of the growth I've had, and the, you know, a lot of therapy, I spent a lot of money on therapy and self-development. Why would I align with someone who has done nothing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm.
going to be dragging him and vice versa. He might be
Mm.
dragging me. We
Mm.
got to find people who fit with
Mm.
us, not
Right.
just spiritually, as the church teaches us, but
Mm-hmm.
all around. It's a 360-degree thing in
Mm-hmm.
my life. Y'all, maybe that's why I'm over here single.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well,
the more you
listen.
heal, the higher your standards are, the
Yes.
harder it is
Right.
to align with the
Mhm.
right person.
Listen,
Yeah.
Ma'am.
I'm 55 years old. I have a 17, no, a 16-year-old and 17-year-old, and they're about to go off to college. And I'm sitting here like, okay, my therapist said, girl, it's time to swing that door open. I'm like, it
Mm.
is. I'm
It
nervous.
is.
No, don't. I'm an empty nester, and let me tell you, you go, woo boy. That listen. Can I ask Elam? Is it Elam or Elam? I want to get it right.
It's Elam.
Elam,
Evil.
hey
Okay.
Elam, may I ask a question?
You sure
Um,
can.
about encouraging. Wait, where was your comment? Well, it doesn't matter. I know what you meant. So first, I do a relationship resume activity as well, and let me tell you, sometimes it does make or break people, because when you find out them things, it was one person that was like, you was divorced how many times? I didn't know that. But yes, that's important to know. But Elam, when it comes to encouraging, again, I talk to my fellas a lot, and I talk to ladies on the side. I can phrase this two different ways, but I think I want to do it this way first. Um, Encouraging. I know that is extremely important to uplift and encourage and support and all that. Which one, and this is just for general, I want me and my ladies to hear this. Which one is worse? Is it not encouraging my fella at all, or is it discouraging him?
Sheesh.
Mm.
That's a good
Yeesh.
one.
I be on my fella side. Because I'm an encourager. But again, I grew up in a loving two-parent home. I'm a daddy's girl. That's just how I was raised, no matter what. But I know that isn't for everyone. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to. Which one is worse? Because a woman can do both.
Wow. First of all, thank you for that question. And tomorrow I'm going to be thinking even deeper into it. But for the sake of time, all
Yes,
right,
yes, yes.
I'm going to say, i- i- so let me just give both sides. I'm a words of affirmation person, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that would mean that encouraging me is that. So I'm words of affirmation, physical touch. They're like one and one hyphen A for me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
not sharing that love to me of encouraging me, that's huge. You're not loving me right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I think about how big that is, right? Simultaneously, I always say to people, for whatever their love language is, these are the big things that are about them. For example, the gifts love language people, right? Every day that ends with the word day is the day that they would like to have some type of gift. It doesn't have to always be something, like expensive. It could be a pack of gum, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so I say that to say, but for words of affirmation people, discouraging words are even more impact. Nobody likes discouraging words, right? But your
Mm-hmm.
words of affirmation, people, it's like squared, cubed, quadruple, quintuple.
Mm-hmm.
It's even bigger for us because those words are so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you discourage them, you're like, you're not only not loving me, but you're hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like it hurts everybody, but it hurts us a little bit more. So I'm gonna share this with you. This hasn't happened often. I don't have an answer in the moment for that question, to be honest with you, because it's almost like 50-50 for that right there, or
Okay.
49-51. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
don't love me, how terrible is that? And if you jam me down and just discourage me and show me that you really don't love me,
Mm-hmm.
you see what I'm saying? So that's difficult.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of the road on that one.
Good. Oh my God, that makes me feel good. I do that often. Welcome to Kenya's keepsake, y'all. I make you think real hard. No, but it is important because, again, that is the first step for us as women to try to, again, understand our men when it comes to that. Because I do know that words of affirmation could be the majority of men's love language. Not all, but the majority, and then physical touch, right? So we know what that means. Okay. But that's good. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I want to answer that too, because that's definitely sheesh,
Mm-hmm.
not encouraging. So what not encouraging does is it's like it's the silence. I just won the Super Bowl. I'm with
Mm-hmm.
my team, Jalen Hurts. I got my jersey somewhere around here. Y'all know I'm an Eagles fan. Eagles. Yeah.
My daughter
Like,
is too.
look, if you push me, I'll sing the song. Y'all know I
Please
know the
don't.
anthem.
I heard her
Fly,
sing it.
Eagles,
Please don't.
fly. Yes. But as much as that is, I win the Super Bowl and you don't say anything. Is it worse that you don't say anything? Like I just got my PhD. I just graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it that you come and say, so they give degrees to anybody. Anybody could have
Right.
done that.
Mm-hmm.
I listen, they about neck and neck.
It was like cut
They
both
they're
ways.
about neck and neck. And so what and look, and one of the things I would used to really be vocal about is that, like, it's this idea of silent support. To
It's
me,
abusive.
silent support is non-support.
Right.
You can't
Definitely.
tell me that you support me silently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you didn't say it, there's nothing to go on.
Right.
And I have to interpret that as if you don't care about me. Look, it's not even the thing that I did. Now it's me. And that becomes a wedge, y'all. It's these sometimes it's not these big things. Yeah, everybody worry
Well,
about cheating and this and that, but it's
can I
sometimes it's these small things like this.
can I jump
Man,
in real quick, Kelvin?
you gotta go.
I honestly think that that's silent or whatever case it be. See, everybody knows, and let me preface this. I am in no way saying that any form of abuse is ever okay. Let me be very clear with that. Okay, but we all know about domestic abuse, putting your hands on somebody. We all know about that one. Let's take this one and put this one over here. Definitely important and not needed, wanted, and not right. We don't talk about emotional abuse.
Right.
Okay. And so when somebody's being silent, oh no, you're not saying anything. You're not cussing them out. You're not snapping off, right? But you're being abusive. And I always like to use something very simple as the gas station, right? I have a car, okay? I have an emotional car, and I can only pull up to one gas station and get filled up, right? Because God forbid if I pull up somewhere else legally, I'm in a whole bunch of trouble, right? From a marriage perspective. And you're gonna choose to when I have an empty tank. I just went through my day, okay? And when I pull up to the station, you shut the pump off and I can't go anywhere else, and I have to survive and go on a journey tomorrow. And so here you have shut off that tank, and you're not giving me an opportunity of expressing myself. And it's not to say that what you have to express is not important as well. And so that's where, and Seema, you said something earlier, and that's a whole nother 5-hour conversation. This is where conflict resolution comes into the game, because there's actually 7 different steps to conflict resolution. And step 1 is recognize that you're on the same team. So if we're on the same team and I am not able to emotionally pull up to my teammate, well, we playing the two. It's us against everybody. And now you've taken away by, as you said, Kelvin, being silent, right? And now our team can't even grow, right? So I think that we don't speak as much about the emotional abuse that is handed towards from wife to husband or from husband to wife, and that's a silent killer. That's where stress comes from. That's where the breakdown of a marriage can come from, and that's where the end goal. And I think Kenya, you said it earlier. This is where the end thing is. Okay, now somebody's stepping out. Now we mad about the step out.
We mad about the step out.
But the 100 nights of silence, we don't want to talk about that. I couldn't pull up to the station, and now my flesh is weak. Last time I checked in that book that we read once a week, so it's already in there. Exists no good thing, and now you mad because of the step out.
I think both of those examples were examples of abuse, not encouraging and discouraging. It's verbal abuse, neglect, isolation, it's humiliation, it's all of those. Those are both examples of abuse. So how can you choose between the two? They both whack. No thanks. Not wanted. Cut it off.
But Asha, you know what? Sometimes though, as a man, we are just taught to just deal with it. Like you don't say nothing. Don't just take it. And sometimes men don't even have the words to say, I need encouragement. It's like it's like asking for a compliment. It's not something you're going to do, And so so just even having the words to know if there's a woman who's watching this, don't even worry about it. We giving you the cheat sheet tonight. Men need encouragement.
Yes.
Men need to know, because look, half the time we already feel like just a utility.
Yes.
Half the time we already just feel like a wrench that you what was that thing you had that could do everything, that the Swiss Army knife. Oh, here I come to save the day. I'll fix the car. I'll do this. I'll do that. And you look to him like, yeah, he does that.
Right.
But what else? Where is that feeling of sometimes I have some bad days and I can't come in here and tell nobody because nobody really wants to hear daddy or husband or boyfriend's cares or concerns, because it's his job to be the strong and silent type and to take on and be the fixer of everyone else. So
And
go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
Kenya, were you gonna say something?
You go ahead first. Go ahead.
Okay. And you know what, Kel? It's kind of synonymous with boundaries, right? Like we
Mm,
put locks on our doors, we put passwords on our phones, but we don't protect our heart from people who don't value it, right?
wow.
We check the weather before we go outside, but we don't protect our hearts before we step into a relationship, right?
Bars.
I mean, we for the most part, we we build a fence around our home, and that's to keep outsiders out or animals out, right? We put alarms on our homes. But how are we protecting our heart? How are we preventing people from continuously hurting us and coming into our lives, creating chaos, not recognizing they don't even deserve us because we're not recognizing our true worth and adding tax and like someone mentioned, setting those boundaries and their whole that's another conversation. Like Elam would say, that's another couple hours
Mm-hmm.
talking about
Mm-hmm.
boundaries. But I think we need to be so intentional about setting healthy boundaries and sticking to them, because boundaries are not for the other person to abide
There
by,
for
they're
yourself.
for you to uphold. And when we don't stick to boundaries or even create them, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And
Uh,
it's an, oh, who's that?
no, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's also important to not look to our partners to be our everything when it comes to holding space, mental, emotional
Yes.
health, and all of that. Like, I personally give me a team. Let me get my therapist. I have coaches
Mm-hmm.
as well as I'm a coach. I believe in wise counsel and community and village, like people that you can trust that are rooting for you in your relationship. I'm that person to people in relationships that if they are having some conflict resolution issues, I'll hold space and listen and help them mediate the situation as well. Like, I know we grow up with whatever happens in this house stays in this house, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's toxic thinking. Like, when we go back to our roots and African tribal ways, there's community, there's elders, there's wise counsel, there's people outside that are included in your village that can support you. And just doing the work to have other people, because putting it all on your partner to be your everything, to be your counselor, your therapist, your preacher, your pastor, your nurse, it's a lot for both people. So I definitely think that partners should hold space and listen and allow you to be transparent and vulnerable and be your safe landing. Of course, be that peace. But also, we have to do the work and do our job to kind of work on ourselves as well within the relationship or as single people preparing for relationships. It's just
Yes.
important to have, you know, seek other help as well. Don't just
Right.
look for your partner to be your everything.
That's a
And
fact.
this can be another Elam 5 hour conversation, but that's why platonic relationships are so important. And that's something else that is underrated and I think people make that an issue. Now I understand there are some situations and there's a problem, but people really, if they really understand how platonic relationships are so important to relationships, then I think that we could start that's another thing that we can start where we can start to have healthy relationships as well. But for that reason too, because I had another question for Elon and Kelvin as well, because I like to challenge and I like to understand too. I feel and I've heard too that some men create these monsters in women, and I'm not excusing it. I'm not justifying women's behavior on how they don't support or feel like princesses and all this other kind of stuff, but going back to the men that are still in these situations and don't walk away, they excuse this behavior from the women, and they are the ones that create the monsters that now 7 years, 15 years, you guys don't feel appreciated. Do you guys have anything on that? Any
Hmm.
thoughts?
You go first, brother.
I have to figure out how to politically say this. So I just, you know, um,
Or unpolitically?
okay, let me just say this.
Just put it out there.
I have been guilty of this.
Mhm.
And this goes back to what we said in the beginning of the conversation, right? About knowing yourself. And so I grew up later on in my relationship, and then was like, it was, uh-oh, okay.
Sorry.
I grew up later on in my relationship, And then all of a sudden I looked around and I was just like, well, wait a minute, hold on, right? It was almost like one day you eat the apple of your. I ate the apple one day and I was like, whoa. And it was like the Matrix, you just looking around like, whoa. All you
Yep.
see all the zeros and ones, and now this zeros and ones. I should have been working on this in my teens. I should have been working on this in my 20s, at least when my frontal lobe was
Yeah.
Right.
forming. I should have been working on that, right? And I wasn't. And so sometimes we make a choice and then we look up and now we got the assets, we got the children, we got, let's just go on down the list, right?
Yeah.
And so got that thing, child support sitting over there in that corner. You don't want to go down that street. Okay, you don't want to go down the other street of what's the other thing? Alimony and stuff like that. And so you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I mean, let's just keep it real, right? We don't know ourselves. And so why we perpetuate it sometimes, I'm going to lay this thing out. The way that court system is set up, okay, we will perpetuate it and just try to ride that bad boy out because you know what? Until they're 14, where's that kid going? With the mama. Okay. Then when that judge put that gavel down, okay, especially if you the breadwinner, something about half to zero is it'll make somebody stay on in there. And yes, you might be creating the beast, and now you're kind of caught up in the moment, right? And you have to be willing to, lean on your spirituality. Sometimes you have to be willing to blow that thing up and hit and press reset. And when you hit reset, the system might come up, system might not come up. You got to be ready
Yeah.
for that, right? So I think that that's some of the perpetuation that I have come across. When speaking with men, because they perpetuate that demon. Because at the end of the day, the way that court system is set up, they're not trying to hit that reset button.
Got you. Mm-hmm.
Mm, powerful, powerful.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
But
so
what I would like to add to that though is a lot of times I see on social media where women are often shamed because 80%, whatever the number is, 80% of women initiate divorce, right?
85,
Mm-hmm.
85,
85.
85.
And then they
It's
say if they're
85.
and if they're educated, it's more than that.
Yeah.
So what? So I guess my question is, does he stay and wait for her to get to decide that I'm tired and get the
Mm-hmm.
divorce? And that's why women are initiating divorce, because I sure initiated mine. I'm tired
Yes.
now. But
Yes.
yeah,
the
They
men
will
well,
with the
stay.
child support didn't have
The
to do
answer
that.
is yes. Yes, they will
Mm-hmm.
stay. I'm
Yes.
not going to see my son or my daughter until the weekend, and that does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it's okay because most of those children down the road say, "Daddy, you should have been left," right?
Right.
But in that
Yes.
moment, when you have fallen in love
Yeah.
with your child, and now you know that I'm going to be every other weekend,
Mm-hmm.
I know
mm,
men that are staying in right now because of that.
mhm,
And or
mhm,
Absolutely.
they're like, they don't, like I said, the way the court system is set up with the way the
mhm,
monies go, it's
mhm,
not in our favor.
mhm.
Yes.
So and it's real. And so that's just to answer your question, Seema, because I
Mm-hmm.
can
Yeah, look,
that's 6 more hours.
yeah, not look, not to mention the fact that men don't like change. Like
Yes.
we
I hear that all the
we
time.
we like our stuff the way it is. We like our don't move my chair, don't
Mm-hmm.
touch my computer. When I come home, I'm gonna put my shoes right here. Okay. When
Mm-hmm.
I wake up, I'm gonna get my coffee. I want my coffee pot to be where it's supposed to be. I want
Mm-hmm.
everything the way it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to start over with something else or somebody else. So
And
it's
if
easier to just
If
stay.
I would have known that at 25, I think that maybe because a lot of people ask me, that's when I broke up with my daughter's father. A lot of people ask me, like, well, would you would have done it differently? And I say no, because I literally woke up and said I didn't want to do this anymore. And I thought that I did it the most simple, cordial way. But now that I hear Elam and Kelvin talking and a few other of my fellas, I did not think about that aspect. I really had my own exit plan. I said, hey, you're going to go back to your mama house. You can have your daughter anytime you want to, bro. Like, we can be very good friends. I didn't think of him waking up in his mom house, not waking up to his daughter anymore. That wasn't my thought. You know what I mean? And again,
Yeah.
25 and hearing it from other guys,
Mhm.
again, which is why platonic relationships are important. But hearing it from you guys, for me,
Yeah.
I thought that me giving him full access was like, no, you can call me, you can come get her, hey, whatever. It wasn't the same as him waking up, having breakfast and things. So thank you for highlighting that too, because
Yeah.
that is
And
one thing
Kenya, you are
years
the
ago.
minority, by the way, because
Hmm.
there's not the benevolence that you offered him
Hmm.
of, hey, come get every time. Oh
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
add in sprinkling some bitterness in there. That
Yeah.
ain't
Mhm.
happening.
And I never
You
took him
know.
for child support. Never. My daughter's
Mm-mm.
22 now, and we broke up when she was 5. I never
Mm,
took him for child support. Like him being absent was totally his decision.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
I begged him to babysit. Like, can you please come? But again, I was never bitter. I don't hold that against him to this day, but I still feel like I didn't think about that side of it from him.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Hey, so let's talk about self-sabotage. I want to talk a little bit about how to
Ooh.
identify this stuff when you're messing up or it's going in the wrong direction. What's really going on there. So I want to talk about this fear of vulnerability. Talk about maybe even it goes into past traumas or unrealistic expectations often sabotage great relationships. So here's a question for the panel. What's a self-sabotaging behavior you've seen people repeat in relationships? Go ahead.
Oh, oh, oversharing and then blaming the other person for not having the capacity to handle that. And I think that OSHA, Asha,
Asha. Mhm.
thank you. Asha said that earlier. And I tell that all the time. People go in oversharing, and then when that person runs away or runs and tells somebody else or something, you get mad at that person. Well, that person didn't have the capacity for your trauma. That person didn't have the capacity for all your sexual fantasies that you wanted to lay out. They didn't have that. So don't be upset with them because you laid it out on them and you didn't even know them enough to know how they can handle what you were bringing.
Mm,
I think
that's good.
self-sabotaging in a lot of different relationships is failed expectations. And
Yeah.
let me elaborate on that, because you can meet someone, us women, and we do it a lot because I have friends that, and we communicate about this all the time. We don't listen to what a man says, what he actually wants, because every woman has this fairy tale theory. That's not really what he's trying to say, but he will tell you directly what he's trying to say to you. Women take it and turn it around in their little heads because they have their own expectations. And when they have their expectations, they become failed expectations. So
Mm-hmm.
that's self sabotaging when you're not listening and understanding exactly what he said to you, because he said exactly what he meant. He didn't mean anything but exactly what he said. So self sabotaging is and with that, that's one of the things I think that is self sabotage. It's failed expectations.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I
I,
yes.
self
go
sabotage with
ahead, Asha. Sorry. Go ahead,
sorry.
Asha. No,
I've
go ahead.
seen self sabotage with met expectations as well. Like I have
Mm.
people that
Mm,
have been literally being intentional in their dating process, been manifesting and writing it all down, and then they meet the person that they've literally been praying for or manifesting, and then all of a sudden the fear kicks in. And that could come
mm,
from childhood, their relationship with their fathers being abandoned or feeling
Mm-hmm.
neglected. It can be a self-worth thing, like not feeling worthy of having the things that they wished for and prayed for and manifested and worked hard to get. um and then that comes into like looking for problems or doubting the validity of the relationship and the love and the connection. So I've seen that self-sabotage with the met expectations as well.
wow, that's
Yeah.
deep.
I would say for me, what I've seen most with my clients is the lack of trust. So
Mm.
they're taking their trust issues from past relationships and going into the next relationship with those same trust issues when that person may not have given them any reason
Mm-hmm.
to not trust them. Um, and one of the things that I have my clients do when we work together is what I call powerful trust building exercises. And one of them is holding a trust chat. So, a trust chat is literally sitting and asking each other questions like, what does love and commitment mean to you? Do you believe there are any trust issues that we need to discuss? Because those questions open conversations about the level of trust or lack thereof that exists within that person themselves or within the relationship. And I don't think people realize the importance of trust in a relationship. Like, trust is, as I'm sure each of you know, so much more important than love.
Mhm.
You know, if you don't have trust in a relationship, you have nothing,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that lack of trust will cause resentment. It will fester over time. It creates additional insecurities, and it just goes from there.
Averell, I can just hear it, it takes a mature person to be in these relationships,
Yes.
because the minute you come and say, you sit down, come in here, sit down. Let's have a trust chat.
Mm-hmm.
My
Ah.
man's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, do we
Yeah, that's just like saying we need to talk.
we
Yep.
need to talk.
We
Oh
need to
my,
talk.
It
what do
does
we
take
need to
a
talk
level
about
of maturity.
now?
It does take
Mm-hmm.
a level of maturity. And I think Elam said it, some
Absolutely.
people don't qualify because there's dating and there's being in a relationship, and people get it twisted. There's a total difference.
Absolutely.
Some people that do not need to transition over to being in a relationship because they're not capable of whether it's commitment, whether being emotionally intelligent enough, have the leadership skills, the stability, the integrity, all the characteristics that need to be, um, that you need to have, and from both sides, right? And so, to Elam's point, some people just don't even qualify to be in a relationship. So they would not understand the maturity that comes with having a trust chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
think
that
that
go ahead.
sorry, sure.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Um, I wanted to say that there's a difference between nagging and communicating.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between we need to talk versus you internalizing and understanding that there's a necessity to talk, but then being able to connect and understand who your partner is, and then
Mm-hmm.
present that moment of, however that might look, right, and be a teammate. I have a one of my frat brothers says that instead of it, let's talk, or we need to talk, or we need to meet, and they took the word plan and family and put it together and call it planly. Now that sounds like a crazy word, right? But that person, they both know that when they say let's have planly time, this is a fostered environment where we're able to come together and have conversation, present tough topics on the table, and everybody's coming with an open mind, open heart. Not able to do planly at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Again, this is my teammate. The goal is for the team to win. Okay, we can't meet
Mm-hmm.
it. We can't do planly at 9 or 10. Can we circle back at 4 o'clock? Now you got from 9 to 3:59 to prepare yourself to
Mhm.
walk onto the court with your teammate and focus on winning the game. So I think that there's nothing wrong with setting, and I forgot which one of you said about setting boundaries. Communication is necessary. I put up a post, excuse me, about two months ago, and it was a particular actor, not going to say his name, and he was talking about, what, if we're in a relationship, you're hugging me, you're rubbing me, you're touching me, and so we're about feeling good. I'm not going to have conversation with you about different aspects of the relationship because those are your insecurities. And I was just like, see,
Yeah.
this is why
I know
everybody can't
exactly
be
who
on a
you're talking about.
yeah, this is why now he's a great actor, him and his
I had a
brothers and
problem with
sisters.
that video too.
Him and his brothers and sisters are very successful. Dude, go act. Okay.
Right.
Don't come on this platform giving relation because 500,000 people are now going to follow you. And you just validated that what was the lack of communication in a relationship.
Yes,
This is not your
exactly.
ministry. This is not your ministry. Just
Come
because you
on.
have a great relationship does not make relationship coaching, whatever certifications you got. It doesn't make it your ministry. So go over
Yes.
there and make the next great movie, and I promise you, I'll watch it. But if you think
Mm-hmm.
that a relationship is about hugging and rubbing and touching and making feel good, that's not
Mm-mm.
realistic. We
Right.
got to have some conversation, tough
Yeah.
conversation, and navigate through, because the devil's here to kill, steal, and destroy. So he's going to put those
No.
murky waters there. If we're not going to talk about it, you're going to lose your relationship. If you just trying to hug and rub and touch, come on, man. Let me hit mute because I
Because
need
that
that.
hugging and
And to
rubbing and
that
touching
point,
gonna get
because
old after a while. I need to talk about something. Right now, I don't feel like rubbing and touching.
and I had a problem with that clip as well, because he was saying that if we have to talk about our challenges, that's your insecurities. And
Wow.
no, number one, but number two, why can't we talk about my insecurities so that you can reassure me, or so that I can get out of my head? Because a lot of people in relationships have problem with reassurance as well. It's okay, reassure me, because again, I could feel a certain way or anything like that, but us talking about our challenges has nothing to do with my insecurities. So I'm with you when I'm with you, Elam. Ooh, that one burned my soul too. Mhm.
All right,
But
look.
oh, go ahead.
So we talked about these sabotages. It's like, so okay, so how do you pull back from that? Like when you feel, and maybe somebody recognized from this conversation that yes, I am I have been sabotaging my relationships, and sometimes it's because I really wanted to get out, right? Some of y'all think that the guy hooked up with Shorty Boo from around the corner just because he was
Ooh.
horny, but
Hmm.
sometimes it was his way. He's actually hoping he gets caught.
He wanted to get caught, right?
He wants to
Right.
get caught
Hmm.
so that he can get out of this situation. And I know it sounds weird, but it
Hmm.
definitely happens. So
It
like,
happens.
so talk to us a little bit about, like, if you are in this audience, and you, or somebody who watches this video, this is what I love about YouTube. It's going to be up for a long time.
Yeah.
5 years from now, somebody gonna watch this video and might be
Hmm.
really helped by what y'all talked about here tonight. How
I,
how can a person make that shift and just pull back from this self-sabotaging behavior?
I would say too, when you're self-sabotaging and you realize that's what you're doing, you have to take a self-inventory within yourself. You have to write down, why are you doing this? Why is this happening? Is it me for real? And then you have to be realistic about yourself. Going into the correction of yourself and taking time to get to know yourself. I don't know if it'll too tough work while you're already in a relationship. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but a lot of it is just getting to know who you are and being honest with you so that you can correct it. And it begins within yourself. Self-sabotaging has nothing to do with your mate, whom you're dating, what's going on the outside. A lot of it is coming from the inside, and you really got to dig deep. Now, when you dig deep and find out what the issues, the underlying issues are, you want to take the time to fix those issues, whether or not it's communicating with friends, finding therapy, finding time within yourself. But the answer to your question is take good inventory of what you want in life, who you really are, and understanding, the things that you're going through, and give an explanation of why. It's just all about you at that point, because you're the only person who can correct you.
Hmm.
That's a fact.
I I was gonna say, for also, what is it sabotaging? Because self is one thing, but what is it sabotaging? Do you sabotage yourself in your career? Do you sabotage yourself in your relationship? And then what are you running from? Because really, when you self sabotage, sometimes you're afraid of what's going to happen next when it gets too good for you. A lot of
Mm.
people fight the good because you didn't plan for what was next. So if I sat up there and self sabotage myself from having $1 million, that's because I didn't plan on what I was going to do with that $1 million. That might be a surface level example, but you guys see where I'm going with this. Sometimes it comes from a fear of also just not being ready for what's coming next, or not even knowing.
Here's
Mm.
a really good example. Since I coach women a lot, one of the things I deal with, especially Black women, is hyper independence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Women are all over social media saying they want this masculine man who's going to come in and do all of these things and just look at making all of this so awesome. I have been super guilty. I will be honest about it. until one day it just resonated with me. It was probably just the Holy Spirit saying, but when he shows up, sis, you're so hyper independent, the man don't won't feel like you need him for anything. Okay, so you're gonna attract to yourself the man that lets you do everything, because you're so hyper independent. And hyper independence is a trauma response for many of us because of something that didn't happen in our childhood. For me, it's, I was the firstborn girl. I've been a parent since I was a
About to say,
teenager.
so you was Mama Junior.
Yeah, parentified child. Okay. Then my parents died when I was 19, 2 months apart. Oh, my super parentification, just went on another level. So I dare you, for those of you who got a divorce, to ask God, what was my part? Right? So I asked God, what was my part? And be quiet till he answers. And he says, you quite often emasculate. What you mean I emasculate? I ain't emasculated nobody. You did, because you do everything on your own. The man didn't know where to help you. He didn't know where to fit in. So I'm like, oh my God, this is something I do naturally, hyper independent women. So how do we fix it? And it comes from the control. So even when he comes and he wants to take something off your plate, y'all see I typed in there, take some off my plate. When he comes, how you gonna ask him when he comes to take some off your plate? Notice I said without me asking. That's the easy way. The more difficult, challenging, mature, healthy way is to ask, babe, can you do this for me? But a hyper independent woman is not going to ask you for help.
Never.
So going back to Elam's thing, I know that because of the way I was raised, I've been on my own for so long, y'all. I've been raising these kids by myself. I have to deal with that. Otherwise, I'm going to attract men who love to sit back and watch a woman do everything.
That's right.
And I want us to also, and then us as a people, to stop beating up ourselves for self-love so much. Yes, it's important, it's a priority and all that, but also too, it is about surrounding yourself, because you have to see it and you have to feel it. Like, I don't have that experience, and never discounting anyone's experience, but for me, again, daddy's girl, grew up, I saw nothing but love from men. I saw nothing but that. And so, in terms of my dating and how I treat my friendships, that's why I am so passionate about men and how they should be supported and things like that. But had not been surrounded about those men's, I got to be honest, I don't care how much self-love I pump into myself. If I don't see a man or any men or a community of men that are like that, I'm still going to feel some kind of way. So I also don't want us to beat ourselves up and giving our minds too much credit of self-love, because yes, that is a big part, but we also have to surround ourselves too with that type of energy, which is why this panel is great, because we have Elam and Kelvin with the same like-minded. But can you imagine? I scroll on TikTok and see some of those panels, and trust me, the men are not Elam and Kelvin, okay? But if I stayed in those, then how would I feel if I stayed? But guess what? I have the opportunity to click off of that and now join Kelvin's, to feel better about myself. So let's give ourselves, I think I should said it earlier, self-compassion too.
Honestly, honestly, Kenya, when you mentioned mindset, the first thing that came to my mind was um, it takes a certain level of maturity to realize when we need to change our mindset, right? Like, your mind is your most powerful tool, because what you think, you believe, you speak those words, and then your actions follow. Whether those, whether the end result is good or bad, it totally depends on your actions. But it takes a certain level of mindset, a mature mindset, to know when you need a mindset shift. That's why they're mindset coaches. Like, who knew? Right? Who knew?
Yes.
And I was gonna say, just to kind of add everybody's point of how to stop the self sabotage, the healing, the self love, the surrounding yourself with other like minded people, the mindset shift, the maturity. A lot of it is just we got to grow up, put your big girl panties on, put your big boy drawers on, and like incorporate all of the tools that you've learned and self reflect, like T Money said, and take the time to look back on what the patterns have been in your relationships, where you've contributed, and also not being afraid to make those adjustments. And if that adjustment is, I like to use the term from Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. They had couples therapy, and he was saying, "You want to work on it, or do you want to uncouple?" Sometimes the best decision is to uncouple instead of staying in it, being miserable, just to say you have somebody, staying in it because you're hoping that it changes when nothing is working. Like, sometimes you have to put the maturity on the table and just be like, "This is not working," instead of like sabotaging by going and cheating and hoping you get caught and doing things to you know uh keep people from trusting you, and all of these things. It's just immaturity. Like, grow up. And every relationship is maybe not long lasting. It might just be for a season or reason, like they say. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, y'all. Well, listen, we have come to the end tonight. I appreciate every single one of you for coming tonight. I want y'all to give our listening audience just a good send off. Maybe your final synopsis on this topic tonight of finding love and making love last. This is our third week of our love month series and our third panel, and we got one more week next week. I want everybody to come and show up, and even the panelists come in and interact, because we definitely need more of these conversations. And I'll keep these panels going if people really really want to have these conversations. I'll continue to do them. But this was for Love Week, so Love Month, and so we're doing these panels. So let's go. Seema, you up first. Give us your synopsis on this topic, and tell the folks what you got, if you got something for us, so you got a product or service you want to share, and then tell us how they can find you online.
Okay, great. So my advice, or what I'd like to share, is in finding love is make sure you find someone who is willing to fight with you, build with you, stay in the game with you. Whatever comes, got to make sure they have that mindset. And I believe the two of you together on the same team, I think somebody talked about that tonight, you can make it. You can make it. You can create love that lasts. Okay. Yes, I do have something. So for the ladies who would be interested in being part of my private group where we do a lot of free coaching in there, I'm going to drop the link and you're more than welcome to come over. It's a free group. And come over and answer the questions and we'll let you right in. You can find me on Instagram at Coach Seema Whitina. You can find me on Facebook at Seema Whitina Clark. Also Seema Whitina Clark on YouTube. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Seema, go ahead and drop that in the chat, and I'll make sure it goes up on the screen. Asha, you are up next. Give us a nice synopsis on this topic of finding love and making love last, and tell us what you got for our people, and tell them how they can find you online.
All right, thank you. What I want to share is the journey of healing, self-love, self-discovery, and intentional dating starts with you when you're single, but it continues on in your relationship. Intentional dating shouldn't stop once you get in a relationship either. Like, continue to date each other, continue to heal individually and together. And as far as my singles, I want you all to pour into your knowledge of how to vet. Vetting properly will save you a lot of all of this that we've been talking about on this panel. Vetting, to know, you have to know yourself first to vet properly. So vetting to see if you have shared values, if you want the same things in life, and if this person is in alignment with you, which is the word of the day. If you would like to work with me, you can always visit oshaceres.com, OSHACERESE.com. I have one-on-one coaching available. I have a 6-week healing workshop called One Single Step at a Time that helps you on your journey. It's very guided. It comes along with coaching as well. I have a quick workshop that can be done in as little as 5 days called 5 Ways in 5 Days that teaches you how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care. And it also helps you to uncover any blockages you have with giving and receiving love. Or you can grab a journal. How to Beat Single guided journal will help you on your journey as well. I have an intentional love collective. It's a growing community and database that I'm growing for intentional daters. I host speed dating events and singles mixers as well. So you can find me on ashaceres.com. I'm Asha Cerise on all platforms, OSHACERESE. And thank you for allowing me to be on this panel tonight.
All right, all right. Sounds good to me. Good to me. Let's see who we got next. Asha, thank you so much for that. Let's go with Avarel. You are up next. Give us your synopsis on this topic, finding love and making love last, and give us what you have to share with the community, as well as how they can find you online.
I would say my final advice would be before you can start the journey of finding love and finding the one, start becoming the one. Becoming the one looks like working on your self confidence, practicing self love, increasing your self esteem, working on becoming the best version of yourself. When you are confident in who you are, you attract like minded people. Work on your communication skills. You can practice maybe with a friend. Um, I like to use um, I like to highlight the importance of when we're communicating to use I statements, meaning I feel, I like, I would like, instead of you statements, which sound accusatory and blaming your partner. That's very important in communicating. As far as what I have to offer, I would say for the woman who's listening to me or hearing, listening or watching this program, I would say if you're tired of the toxic relationships, if you need a blueprint for dating, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Averell Smith. My website is seekingsynergyforlife.com. On Instagram, you can find me at seeking_synergy for life, and on Facebook at seeking_synergy. You can send me a message. You can send me a DM. I would gladly offer a 30-minute free discovery call with you to discuss your relationship challenges, help you navigate the dating arena, create a blueprint for making love last, dating with clarity, communication, and confidence, and creating the love life that you truly desire and deserve. I appreciate you, Cal, for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right. I love having all these smart people around me in here dropping that information here. So you guys who are following, make sure y'all tap in with all these folks. And if you can't find them anywhere, you can definitely find them on Facebook. Just look their name up and jump in those inboxes just in case you have missed something. Everell, drop your link in the chat and I will highlight you. Kenya Keepsake, you are up next. Give us your synopsis of tonight and tell us what you have for us and how they can find you online.
Yes, hey y'all, it's your girl again. And my synopsis for tonight is know your negotiables and non-negotiables. That is something important, and then apply them. Application is something that we miss all of the time. So know your negotiables and non-negotiables, not just in dating, in life. Stop applying everything when it comes to yourself to the dating world, to relationships. Like, forget about that other person. It's about you. So, negotiables and non negotiables. And you can find me on all platforms. I will put my link tree in there and it will give you all the links, including some free resources on there. I have a Keepsake University, which is an academy as well. And for anybody that signs up on here and put in the word Kelvin, you guys will get free access to my new community. So that is that. And also, I have created a date yourself jar. Since we are all on self discovery and healing, what I do is create 28 ideas that I put in there. And whenever you feel like dating yourself, you shake it up and you go in there and do whatever the prompts say, because I know it's 28 ideas that you would have never thought about. So I have one for couples and one for individuals as well. And again, find me on there. I do Fellas Friday every Friday. That is specifically for my fellas, because again, you guys are important and you guys matter. So I'll put my link tree in there.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. What was that thing? What,
My date
what
yourself jar.
Date yourself jar. I
Mm-hmm.
love that idea.
Yes, thank you. And I bet you
Yeah.
haven't thought of any ideas that I put in there.
I bet you I have.
We gonna see. I'm gonna send you one, and we gonna see.
You send me one. All right, T Money, what's going on? You are up next. Give us your synopsis for tonight. And look, and I'm gonna tell them where I saw you at too.
I know where you saw me at, and I know what you were gonna say. What I would say in keeping love and making sure it goes the way it's supposed to go. Be real with yourself. Don't give up on what you want. You have to know yourself, and you have to be willing to stand on what you want and what you want in a relationship. You cannot finagle it. You can't let it go. And those red flags that we already know, especially in our dating age, pay close attention to them. They're real. We go through experiences for a purpose. You have to remember those purposes. And when those red flags begin to flare up or show up, it's time to go. You can't fix it. Don't waste your time. Just go and keep in touch with yourself. Don't lose you. And even if you are in a relationship, go find you. It should be about you. You should be understanding you, and never forget that. What I have to offer, I work in logistics. I know a lot of people that are running off into logistics. They spending all the money in the world. It's really not that serious. You're paying for stuff you don't know nothing about, not knowledgeable. What I do is I help people open up their businesses, train them in logistics. In reference to trucking, the LLCs, you just wouldn't imagine a lot of people have business out here and they think they're real business and they're not even LLC or with the Secretary of State of Georgia. You're not a business. So me myself, I step in. I help those that are in need. You can contact me on MONI Instagram, MONI_HFL Hustle for Life. My name is T Money. It's been great. Thank you, Kevin, so much. I learned. I don't have all those big degrees, but my information come from that trial and error part. So that's why I got my degree in.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, she did. I saw her on TV in in front of the TV judge.
Yes.
Yeah, when I did divorce, right? When I did divorce court, and I wanted to tell everybody like that was one of my things. And a lot of people say, "Well, he loves you and he gave you everything he did." But if you're not giving that love back, and you think you're hindering somebody, it's okay to let somebody go. Every relationship is not to be a relationship to stay into and to be miserable in. And doing that show was one of my things. I mean, I didn't have the mutual feeling that he had, and I just released myself from it. So, that was my
Mhm.
story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I cracked up when I saw it. I was like, "Hey, that's my Facebook friend on divorce court." Hey, it got to be done. You do what
Definitely.
needs to be done. All right, Elam, you are up next. Give us a nice synopsis. Put it in wrap it in a bow for us. Your thoughts on this topic of finding love and making love last. Give us what you have for us tonight as far as resources, and then tell the folks where they can find you online.
Well, first of all, Kelvin, I really appreciate you just even having this platform tonight. I think that everybody can echo this regarding just the topic, how the flow has been tonight. I mean, it was amazing, and also the audience participation. Want to thank those who were in the audience that participated as well, I want to say thank you to the panel. Everybody that spoke tonight, I felt the place that this is for your ministry, and so I want to thank each one of you for that, and you guys sharing the information. Um, I'm going to put it in a very short space of what we might want to think about. It's God, it's you, and then it's two. From the beginning of tonight's conversation, we've been talking about how important it is, in different aspects. But not to get too spiritual, but at the end of the day, when God created the heavens, He started first, right? And then after Him, then He created man, and man understood what his assignment was first and what he was supposed to do. And after all that, then the two came around. And so I encourage you to, if you're having any challenges that are in the space for relationships, get a little bit closer to your spirituality, get a little bit closer to you, and then you can qualify and or make the right decision in choosing the partner that can be before you. You can reach me on all platforms at Elam B. King. You can also go to elambking.com to, see the different products and things of the nature that I have. I do want to share that one of the things, this is my game that I have, Are We Ready Yet? It's actually 100 different questions that this came from years of the important questions and topics that couples really didn't understand and know about themselves. And so particularly for my folks that are in relationships or pre-marriage couples as well, you can go to arewereadyyetgame.com, or you can actually just go to elambking.com and have an opportunity of purchasing this particular game, and that will give you some good insights, some good table topics. It's 100 questions to give you an opportunity of expanding your relationship and growing and making sure you're making the right decision, as we talked about a lot tonight. So thank you again, Kelvin, and to all the panelists tonight.
All right, my man, my man. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll drop I'll give my thoughts here on this topic. I think I appreciate everybody for coming. And so when I think about this topic, finding love and making love last, the way that I see it is it's finding love and making love last, meaning find the thing you found. How are you going to make that last? There are a lot of people online that are talking about dating and finding this one and finding that one. Okay, for many of us, we know that's the easy part, right? Anybody can learn how to have game or run frame and all these different things, but can you keep it going? Right? And the way that you're going to be able to keep it going is to work on your emotional cup. You must fill your own emotional cup with what you need, and the other person should just be topping it off like with some whipped cream and a cherry. Okay? You can't show up with an empty cup expecting someone else to do the filling for you. You must do your own emotional work. I'm gonna say it like I say it every week, and I'm gonna say it again. One of the most powerful things that I did this past summer was begin journaling. I started the practice of journaling, not just doing some journaling here. I do it every single day. I sit down, I put that timer on, I light a candle, I create a nice little atmosphere, and I start writing. Right. And I started thinking about the things that happened in my life that I never wrote about, that there's no record of, that were impactful for me, not to mention the small things that really make up the importance of our life. And so I think investing in those sort of things, I'm challenging somebody to go get a journal tomorrow. Go stop at TJ Maxx or one of them. You only have to get the expensive joints. Get the ones. It used to cost $12.99. Now it's $4.99. That's the one. and get you a pen, panelists. I have emptied 4 pens from start to finish. To me, that's amazing, and I'm so proud because to me that represents consistency. I use the same pen from the very beginning, took it out the pack, and wrote and wrote and wrote until it was empty. And that's how I want my life to be. That I live full but die empty. And that's what we're here to do. So I appreciate you guys for being here. And look, I got something special for you. If you are in the Atlanta area, I got something special for you. Flirt Friday is here. We are in the South Atlanta area. If you're in South Atlanta, we getting it popping here for you. We want you to come and meet somebody special, meet some new people, and make some new connections. And so this might be the opportunity for you that changes everything. So we want you guys to come and hang out with us if you're in the South Atlanta area as well. I have a book that I want to share with you. It's called what's my book called? It's called Secrets of the Mind of a Man. I got so many things going on. Let me pull it up. This is my book. It's called Secrets of the Mind of a Man: How Men Think When It Comes to Dating, Relationships, and Love. You can get that book. It is available on my website at lovecoachatlanta.com. That's where everything is going down. Lovecoachatlanta.com. I got the TikTok link over there where I have 340,000 followers over there, and where I do all my good talking right here. So if you're here on the YouTube side, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. All right. So I appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out with us tonight. Until next time, peace and love. We'll get with you later. Peace.